Most people imagine dementia arriving loudly. They expect sudden confusion, forgotten names, or people getting lost in familiar places. But vascular dementia does not announce itself that way. It enters quietly, wearing the disguise of ordinary aging, slipping into daily routines so gently that families rarely recognize what is happening until real damage has already been done. Vascular dementia is caused by reduced blood flow to the brain. Tiny strokes, narrowed vessels, and circulation damage slowly starve brain tissue of oxygen and nutrients. The brain does not fail all at once. It weakens in steps. A person may function well for years, then suddenly lose certain abilities after an unnoticed vascular event. This step-by-step pattern is one of the reasons the condition is so often misunderstood. Yet it is also what makes vascular dementia different from other forms of dementia. Because when caught early, doctors can often slow its progression by protecting the blood vessels and restoring circulation. The earliest warning signs rarely look dramatic. They often appear in familiar routines. A person who has followed the same habits for decades may suddenly struggle with tasks that once felt automatic. Cooking a familiar meal becomes confusing. Paying bills takes far longer than before. Medications are forgotten or taken incorrectly. They may stand in the kitchen uncertain what to do next or abandon a task midway. Families often step in quietly to help, believing they are simply supporting an aging parent. Without realizing it, they may be covering up a neurological warning sign that deserves immediate medical attention. Another subtle change often appears in the evening hours. Throughout the day, conversation may flow normally. Memory may seem intact, but as daylight fades, confusion quietly increases. The person may lose track of time, ask repetitive questions, forget that they already ate, or become convinced they need to go somewhere urgently without explanation. This pattern is not ordinary fatigue. It reflects the brain struggling to stay oriented when blood flow is already compromised and environmental light cues fade. Many families dismiss it as tiredness or poor sleep, yet it can be one of the earliest and most consistent warning signs of vascular damage to the brain. One of the most revealing and most overlooked signs appears in walking. Subtle changes in movement can surface years before memory problems become obvious. Walking speed may slow, steps may shorten, turning becomes awkward, balance feels less steady, curbs feel more intimidating. A person may shuffle slightly or hesitate before stepping forward. These changes are not simply muscle weakness or stiff joints. Walking requires constant coordination between multiple brain regions. When vascular damage interferes with those pathways, movement changes appear quietly and early. Families frequently attribute this to arthritis or aging and miss the neurological significance. Speech and conversation also begin to shift. A person may pause mid-sentence, searching for common words. They may substitute similar words, describe objects instead of naming them, or lose track of their thought. These disruptions often vary from day to day, which leads families to assume distraction or stress is the cause. In reality, inconsistent blood flow to language centers in the brain creates unpredictable communication difficulties. Many people feel embarrassed by this and withdraw socially, which families may mistake for depression. Another early sign appears in social settings and entertainment. Someone who once enjoyed conversation in television programs may suddenly struggle to follow storylines, keep track of who said what, or stay engaged in group discussions. Family gatherings become overwhelming. Background noise feels distracting. The person may withdraw quietly rather than admit confusion. This is not loss of interest. It is working memory disruption, where the brain can no longer hold and organize information efficiently due to vascular injury. Spatial awareness also begins to change. A person may misjudge distances, spill drinks, bump into door frames, or struggle with stairs and curbs. Parking becomes difficult. Driving feels less comfortable. These are not vision problems. The eyes may still see clearly, but the brain no longer interprets space accurately. Because the person may not realize their perception has changed, these shifts create serious safety risks and increase fall risk significantly. Emotional changes can also appear surprisingly early. A calm person may suddenly become easily frustrated, tearful, anxious, emotionally flat, or react strongly to minor events. Mood swings may feel unpredictable. These emotional changes are neurological, not personality flaws. Damage to the brain circuits that regulate emotional control reduces the ability to moderate emotional responses. Loved ones often take these changes personally, which can strain relationships and delay proper medical evaluation. One of the earliest and most surprising warning signs involves bladder control. Sudden urgency, frequency, or accidents without infection can reflect early vascular damage in the brain regions that regulate bladder signaling. This symptom is frequently treated as a urinary issue and dismissed when tests return normal. Yet when it appears alongside even mild cognitive or behavioral changes, it can be one of the earliest neurological red flags. None of these signs alone confirms vascular dementia. Many other conditions can cause similar symptoms. But when several appear together, even subtly, they should never be ignored. Early medical evaluation allows doctors to identify vascular risk factors, order brain imaging when needed, and implement treatments that protect remaining brain tissue. The most powerful first step for families is documentation. Writing down what changes appeared, when they started, how often they occur, and what makes them better or worse gives doctors critical insight. This transforms vague concerns into actionable medical information. Medical evaluation should include cognitive screening, neurological examination, and vascular risk assessment. Blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, smoking history, and heart health all play a direct role in brain circulation. Addressing these factors early can dramatically slow progression. While awaiting evaluation, focusing on vascular health offers immediate benefit. Managing blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol, staying physically active, eating heart-healthy foods, staying hydrated, sleeping well, and avoiding smoking all improve blood flow to the brain. These lifestyle changes protect both cognitive and physical independence. Perhaps most importantly, families must understand that vascular dementia does not have to steal independence overnight. When caught early, progression can slow significantly. Falls can be reduced, communication can remain meaningful, daily routines can remain stable for much longer. Aging does not mean surrendering dignity, clarity, or connection. When families learn to recognize the quiet signs early, they give their loved ones the most valuable gift possible: time, safety, and a better quality of life. Knowledge does not replace medical care, but it empowers families to act before damage becomes irreversible.